Welcome to this ServiceTool tutorial on how to set up a vehicle file. The vehicle file is created by ServiceTool configurator and it is saved as a SVDF. A vehicle file can later be used both in the ServiceTool configurator or in the service version, and therefore the first thing you need to have in mind is for whom is it meant for. If creating a vehicle file for yourself or coworkers also using the configurator version, you will not be limited in any way of editing the nodes or parameters and are given full access to everything. When creating the file for a service version user, like a technician, assembling personnel or such, you first need to decide what level of access they are going to have. By this, we mean what parameters should they be able to read, what parameters should they be able to change, and within which limits. This means you might want to have different files for different users, so make sure you name the files in an understandable way and make sure the correct user gets the intended file for them. With that in mind, let's start creating the file. If not already a blank file, start with pressing New to create a new empty SVDF. First, you need to add nodes. There is no limits on how many nodes you can add. There are several ways to create a node. To start, click the plus button here or in the home page at this big button, and this will open the Add Node frame. We start with adding a node manually. Let's start by typing its name. Let's call this one Pump Controller. We have to select what type of node it is. I'm selecting Inmotion. Then here at node ID, enter the CAN ID for the node. The standard ID is between 1 and 31 and default is to use the STO2 address. This is highly recommended if available, so the program won't interfere with the vehicle communication. So here I know this node communicates on node ID 6. And I will have the STO2 checked. This means it will actually communicate on ID 6 plus 32, resulting in ID 38. You can, if you want, set it 38. The STO2 automatically be unchecked. The result will be the same, but it will now be shown as node ID 38. The maximum value for the node ID is 127. After that, we have to select the EPF file associated with the node. And here you should either select the EPF already present on the unit, or select a new version of the EPF that you want to upgrade the unit with. Either way, the parameters in the object dictionary is almost always the same. And that is it. Just press OK and we have added our first node. When adding a node manually like this, make sure you go to Settings, and at bitrate, select the correct bitrate for your vehicle. But let us add another node, and this time we use the node scanner. The node scanner is accessible from within the Add Node frame. Here. Make sure you have selected the right dongle. Channel is usually 0, so normally you just have to make sure the bitrate is correct. If you are uncertain, use the Scan All. Once the scan is complete, you get a list of all nodes found. Here we can see the node ID 6 we added earlier, but also another one at ID 27. As you can see, we also find the STO2 IDs here at 38 and 59. But let's add the node with ID 27. We simply select it and press Select. Okay, as you can see here, we get a question if we want to set what our default folder for EPF files are. This is useful when adding with the node scanner, because ServiceTool will do a check if the actual EPF already on the unit is present in this folder or its subfolders. Here we get another message. We are informed that the bitrate is changed because our previous setting did not match with the nodes we found. Also, we are informed that a matching EPF was found and was chosen for us. If you go to Settings, you can change or disable this feature later. As you can see here, the EPF has been selected. The node ID is selected for us. And also, if not a name is already given, a default name is entered for easier identification. In this case, I choose to rename it to Pump Supervisor. Okay, we are set. And we are ready to connect to the canvas. Press the connect button and you should see here on these icons that we are connected. But also down here at the bottom left, we can see that we are connected. Now we have to create parameter groups. These groups are used to sort and get a better overview of certain parameters. Depending on what sort of vehicle you have and who is using this file, you might want different setups. So I'm going to add a few groups here. Let's have a device information. Voltage. And motor limits. That will do for this demo, but you can add as many groups as you need. All groups start empty, but now we are ready to add parameters. Let us start with the device information group. You can access the parameter browser in 3 different ways. Either here on the plus, or right-clicking in any list and select Add from Parameter Browser. Or just clicking this big button here, Parameter Browser. Here we can see our nodes, and they can be expanded to see all parameters associated with each node. There are several ways to add a parameter. I recommend drag and drop, like this. One for each node. But you can also double-click on a parameter or pressing Add Parameter to get to this menu. Here you manually have to select to what group and to either read or write list. You can also right-click on a parameter and you see the same button, but also the possibility to find the group and list directly. Sometimes a parameter might be difficult to find. At the top of the parameter browser, there is a search field where you can type. Depending on number of matches, it expands or collapses. Here it is. Now it's also easier to add the same parameter for multiple nodes. We can also see here what kind of access type this parameter has. This is read only. Let's do a quick forward. And I have now several groups filled with different parameters. As you can see here, we now have some parameters from both nodes and we are getting live values from both of them. We also have parameters in the write list. Anyone using this vehicle file, no matter of version, will be able to change the values of these parameters. If you want a specific order in your list, you can drag and drop a parameter and it will be positioned where you drop it. But this is it. Our vehicle file is complete. Now the final thing is to save it. Choose your name wisely and select in which folder you want to save it to, and it is ready to be sent to your service user. This is the basic for setting up a vehicle file. Please watch the video Customization of Parameters to learn how to set limits to parameters, change its scaling, description, among many things. In some cases, when a unit is not set up in a standardized way, please watch the video Advanced Options to create a vehicle. Thank you for watching. Please contact us if you have any questions, want to purchase our products, or have any feature requests.